Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be fulfilling a client's order. So without further talk, let us dive right into the video. So guys, this is the style we want to get. So the first thing you do is to fold your material the way I'm folding it now. Fold enough so that it will be sufficient to get your bust allowance, your bust measurement and the allowance. Then you go ahead to draft a basic bodice. I'm so sorry, I should have used a pattern paper, but I'm so used to using materials to cut directly. But subsequently, any tutorial I have to do, I'll just get a pattern paper. Yeah, so I added some measurements to the bust measurements because if you see the original outfit, you will see that it's loose a bit, it's not fitted. So I added some measurements to the bust measurement, to the waist, everything, and I cut length 18. The half length of this person is around 16 or 17-ish, but I cut length 18. And then the rope will suffice for the remaining length. So as you can see, I was cutting out the basic bodies at this point. It's just the basic bodies, and I feel like anyone that sews should know how to draft the basic bodies. But then if you don't know how to draft the basic bodies, do let me know and I'll create a separate video for that. So this is it, and I'm going to place it back on the material and I'll cut the back. The back and the front are basically the same thing because there's no zipper allowance. And then I proceed to cut the neck. The width is 3.5 and the depth is 5 inches. Yeah, 3.5, 5. That's what I use 3.5 for most adults, except the person is very big, then I can use 4. Or if the person is very slim, I can use 3. So I connect it and then I kind of draw a curve. I draw a curve as you can see me drawing now. And after drawing the curve, I cut it out. But yeah, first of all, I have to go to the back and cut it. The width is 3.5 too for the back. So that's one basic thing in sewing. The same width you use for the front is the same width you have to use for the back so that it will rhyme. And then I went down with about 1.5 or 2 inches. I can't remember accurately. So you can see the back, and I cut out the front too. So both the front and the back are ready to be sewn. You can see the both of them, the neck, the basic bodies, and everything is done, and I packed it. So the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to cut out the sleeve. Yeah, so if you don't know how to cut a sleeve and you want me to make a video teaching how to cut the sleeve, do let me know and I'll make the video available. But I just cut out the sleeve and I added extra allowance because the outfit is not fitted both at the sleeve and the body. I cut for both the left and the right. And now we move on to the major thing, cutting out those Ankara fringes, abi ropes. Yeah, so I cut it by 2 inches so that by the time I'm done sewing, like when I fold it into 2 and then I take allowance, I'll be left with maybe 0.2. Yeah, and the length was about 20 something inches. So I've actually been more, but I was working with only 3 yards of fabric, and if not for the fact that I know how to manage fabric, it wouldn't have been enough. I should have actually told the clients that it wouldn't be enough, but I felt the 3 yards would be enough. Well, it was enough to sew the top, but I just had to manage really well. So you can make it even longer than that, 30 something inches, 40 something inches, depending on the amount of material that is available to you. So you go on to cut. I cut out about 50 or even more because you need a whole lot to fill the front, to fill the back, and to fill the sleeves. And then I went ahead to use the basic bodies to cut out lining. Yes, lining is very important for this style. This is not something you can sew without lining. So I just cut out my lining, and at this point I was done cutting. You can see the ropes and the main cloth, and yeah, it's time to sew the outfits. So yeah, the first thing you want to do when you start sewing the outfit is to pick up the ropes. You guys, if you're going to be making this cloth for a client, like if you're going to be charging somebody to make this outfit, I feel you should charge well, because I didn't charge well for this outfit, and it was while making it I discovered how stressful it was. Like I had to pick each of the ropes individually and sew them, and the hardest part was turning it out. Like it took me a whole lot of time to turn it out. Then after turning it out, I had to iron it before I could attach it. So if you are going to be making this outfit for someone, except you're making it for yourself, but if you're going to be making it for someone, you have to consider the stress in getting the outfit done. So yeah, you don't cut it out when you're done with one. When you're done with one, you pick up the second one, you join it to the line again, you pick up the third one, you do it like that until you are done before you start cutting the thread to reduce the time you spend on folding. So yeah, this was another day and there was no power supply. This is why I had to switch to the manual sewing machine, but at this point I had already ironed all the ropes, all the strands, so it was just time to add it to the main outfit. Yeah, so I picked up the outfit. At the front of the outfit, the front, make sure it's not at the back. At the front of the outfit, you pick one of the strands. You start, like, you pick one of the strands, then you start from maybe about 2.5 inches from the end. Don't start from the end, because remember, you have allowance and they're still going to turn with lining, and you don't want the strand to be stuck around the allowance. You have to loosen it. So to avoid that stress, make sure you leave about 2.5 or even 3 inches from the end of the fabric, and then you start sewing it one by one. When you add the first one, you top stitch, although this top stitching is not necessary because you're still going to turn with lining and to still top stitch. So I was actually just stressing myself. Then you pick the second one, you just give it like 1/2 inch or 1/2 to 1 inch space before you pass the second one. Yeah, after the first one, you do the second one, you pick the third one, you just keep on picking all of them one by one until you get to 2.5 inches to the end of the other side. You have to be careful, like I said, so that you don't sew into the allowance and create unnecessary and avoidable problems for yourself. So you just go on and on and on. You do the same thing for the back too, and then I was done with the front. At this point, you can see how it is, how it's dangling. Yeah, so the next thing is to turn with the lining. Like, you pick up the lining and you use it to turn this. Now note, when you are turning with the lining, make sure you place the lining on the front. Still leave the ropes the way I placed them in this video, and then you place the lining on top of the ropes. Yes, on top of the ropes, and then you sew it straight down, so that when you are done turning it, by the time you raise it up, you have folded it neatly. And then you proceed to turn the neck. You can see how the lining is, you can see how the ropes are at the side. Yeah, that's the purpose of the lining, to give it a neat finishing. So after that, you do the same thing for both the back, and then you do the same thing for the sleeve too. After sewing, you turn with lining, and then you couple all of them together. You join the front to the back and join the sleeve to the hands, and yeah, that's basically it for this style. You can see how neat it is on the inside. Now you understand why I used lining. Yeah, it's very, very neat, and that's why I used lining. And yay, here is the finished product. So this looks quite fitted because I had to use a peg to hold it at the back of the, to hold the outfit at the back, because it was looking a bit rumpled. So I just decided to use a peg, but it's actually supposed to be free. It's actually free a whole lot. Like, it's a free top. And yeah, I hope you learned something from this tutorial. If you learned something from this video or you enjoyed it, do give it a huge thumbs up. Please subscribe, please share, tell someone to tell someone to tell someone about Chidera Sews. And hopefully I'm going to be seeing you guys in my next video. For now, bye, kiss kiss, love you.